In a major shift in policy, the Canadian Security Intelligence Service has labeled Canada based Sikh separatists as the primary politically violent extremism threat that has manifested in the country since the mid 1980s. In its 2024 annual report, the CSIS said, and I quote, "Since the mid 1980s, the PMVE threat in Canada has manifested primarily through Canada based Khalistani Extremists, or the CBKEs, seeking to use and support violent means to create an independent nation state called Khalistan, largely within Punjab, India." The report notes that only a small group of individuals are considered Khalistani extremists because they continue to use Canada as a base for the promotion, fundraising, or planning of violence primarily in India. This is a big change under the current administration led by Prime Minister Mark Carney, given that the previous Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, and his government gave little support to Sikh separatist groups, which wielded a large influence on Ottawa's political scene. The previous administration had also relied heavily on the New Democratic Party, or the NDP, a political party which was at the time led by Jagmeet Singh, who offered support to such groups. This report by the CSIS comes a day after Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with Prime Minister Mark Carney on the margins of the G7 summit in Alberta on Tuesday. The two leaders agreed for the early return of High Commissioners to New Delhi and Ottawa as a step towards normalizing ties between the two countries. Under Trudeau's government, a diplomatic chill between India and Canada set in, after Trudeau accused the Indian government of being linked to the killing of Indian designated terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar in Canada. The day that the CSIS report was released marked the second anniversary of Nijjar's killing outside a Gurudwara in Surrey, British Columbia. If one looks at the previous report, the one in 2023, while it had a mention of the killing of Nijjar, it made no mention of Sikh separatists indulging in PMVE activities, even as Indian diplomats faced threats in the country. However, the latest report makes it clear that some Canadians participate in legitimate and peaceful campaigning to support the Khalistan movement. Nonviolent advocacy for an independent state of Khalistan is not considered extremism. However, the report acknowledges that the existence of a small segment of Canadian-based Khalistani extremist groups pose a threat to national security and Canadian interests because of the real or perceived Sikh extremism emerging from the North American country, which has driven forward India's alleged foreign interference activities. This is an acknowledgement from Canada's premier intelligence agency that the existence of Sikh extremist groups and the potential violence that could emanate from such groups impacts India's security worldview, a position New Delhi has long maintained that these Canadian-based groups are looking to cause violence in India and are a threat to Indian national security. However, the report highlights that India is one of the main perpetrators of espionage activities in Canada, along with China, Russia, and Iran. India allegedly attempts to influence Canadian communities and politicians, and when it is deceptive, clandestine, or threatening, are deemed to be foreign interference. The report says, and I quote, "Links between the government of India and the Nijjar murder signal a significant escalation in India's repression efforts against the Khalistan movement and a clear intent to target individuals in North America." Nevertheless, till date, there has been no evidence shared by Canada to India regarding these links. Rather, by raising the accusations at the highest of political levels, it cratered the ties between the two countries. Under Prime Minister Carney, there has been a focused reset given Canada's current foreign policy challenges with the return of US President Donald Trump to the White House.